The trading deadline has passed. We'll run down the player movement. Playoff clinching time has arrived. Which teams are first? And an all-time ECHL record is set. We'll have the video, news, highlights, and more. ECHL Week starts right now!
Hi, welcome to another edition of ECHL Week. This time we come to you from the VyStar Veterans Memorial Arena in Jacksonville, Florida, home of the Jacksonville Icemen. Time for another info-packed show. Let's get started with the top story. And of course, that top story is the last week of trading this season. Thursday marked the trading deadline for the 21-22 year, and numerous players changed teams. Many managers didn't wait for the deadline to make changes and exchanged players in the last 8 weeks. The large number of teams still in the playoff hunt and relatively small number out of the postseason picture also cut down on the number of trades at this deadline. Let's get started and run down the most significant moves which took place during the last week. One of the most notable trades involved 3 teams. Forward Avery Peterson, who spent last season with Rapid City, is heading there again from Florida through Wichita. Part of the deal involved point-game forward Mateo Gennaro being reassigned to the Everblades. And the Thunder received forward Jake Wallen from Rapid City in the swap. Future considerations were also involved. Another significant trade had Florida picking up some serious offense in the form of forward Derek Angeli. The league's 5th leading scorer spent a brief stint with the Everblades a few years ago. Going to Kansas City in return is defenseman Dalton Galley. Wichita, which is on the outside of the playoff race, also added a young defenseman, Justin Bean, from Cincinnati in return for another blue liner, Sean Allen, who had spent his entire 3-year pro career in Kansas. League-leading Toledo picked up some experience in the form of forward Jesse Mitchin, who got his name on the Kelly Cup as a member of the Colorado Eagles in 2016. Heading to Kansas City in return is forward Keegan Howdashell. The Walleye also picked up a veteran blue liner with offensive pop, Cam Clark from Wichita. Clark is tied for 7th in the league in defense scoring. Heading to the Thunder are D-man Connor Walters and forward Ian Parker. Atlanta added experience to its blue line. Jacob Graves, in his 6th pro season, goes to the Gladiators from Wichita in return for rookie defender Billy Constantino. One other move, which included players going in both directions, had Rapid City picking up defenseman Kyle Rhodes from Norfolk. In return, the Admirals acquire a pair of rookies, forward Brett Van Oss and defenseman Elijah Vilio. Orlando acquired some offensive help, trading for Ross Olsen from Worcester in exchange for defenseman Nolan Valou. Valou was later placed on team suspension by the Railers in order to protect his playing rights after choosing not to head to Massachusetts. To complete a deal from earlier this season, Reading obtained the rights to center Zane Franklin from Allen. Franklin spent this season playing college hockey. The Americans added forward Colby McCauley from South Carolina. This will be McCauley's 3rd stint with the Texas team. Utah traded for forward Keaton Jameson from Fort Wayne, where he had played sparingly after spending most of the season at the University of Manitoba. After playing most of the season with Reading, Jared Brandt is staying in the North Division. Worcester added the rookie defender. One other deal had defenseman Jesse Lees moving from Wheeling to Trois-Rivières for future considerations. Lees was later suspended by the team after opting not to play for the Lions.
Hi, I'm Max Milasic of the Toledo Walleye, and you're watching ECHL Week.
Along with all the trade activity, the first 2 teams clinched Kelly Cup playoff spots in the last week. Central Division and league leader Toledo nailed down a berth last weekend. This will be the 6th straight season for which the team has been eligible in the playoffs. As the team with the largest margin atop a division at this point, the Walleye also look to be in good shape in terms of winning a division crown for the first time since 2018. With 10 games left, Toledo is also the favorite to bring home the Brabham Cup as the ECHL's regular season champ. The Walleye last earned that prize in 2017. And North Division pace setter Reading is returning to the postseason action for the first time since 2018. The Royals still have their sights set on a division championship, something they last accomplished in 2014.
A recap of record-setting performances when ECHL Week continues.
Thinking of selling your home? Now is the perfect time. Few homes are available for sale, and this increases the competition. Many homes are selling above asking price. Buyers are offering seller-favorable terms, few contingencies, closing dates that meet sellers' needs, large down payments, or all-cash offers. Want to know what homes like yours are selling for? Contact Will Springer today.
1 in 3 adults has pre-diabetes. That means it could be you, your dog walker,
On your left.
your cat jogger. With early diagnosis, pre-diabetes can be reversed. Take the risk test at doihaveprediabetes.org.
It's quite a treat to be able to record a show, at least part of a show, outside during the hockey season. We're here on the banks of the St. Johns River in northeastern Florida. Now let's take a look at news from all around the ECHL. Last weekend was a busy one for those who keep track of league records. First, Idaho's Mike Prafafessis tied the season high for assists in a game. His 5 points helped nail down a 9-1 victory over Wichita. 4 of those helpers came on the power play, which also tied the ECHL's best for this year. He's the only defenseman to record 5 assists in a game in 21-22. The next day, Kellen Jones of Fort Wayne also picked up 5 assists. His distribution was a bit more even, 2 even strength, 2 on the power play, and 1 shorthanded. And he also added a goal in a 7-3 victory over Wheeling. That put Jones with a group at the top of the points in a game list for the season. Oddly enough, of the 5 times one player has recorded 5 assists in a game this year, 4 of those occurrences have come since mid-March. But the most notable record set last week is in the all-time category and is unlikely to ever be broken. Late in a tie game at Reading, Norfolk's Noah Corson scored this impossible angle goal to put his team on top. With about 14 seconds to play, the Royals pulled goaltender Logan Flodell for a 6th attacker. The ensuing faceoff was won by the Admirals' Marley Quince, a former Royal, to teammate Alex Tange, who promptly rifled the puck into the unoccupied net. That play took 2.4 seconds, but for statistical purposes, it was just 2. And those goals were the fastest 2 ever scored in an ECHL game. A pregame two-touch session helps us lead off our Voices of the ECHL segment.
Voices of the ECHL. Today, Andrew Smith of the Indy Fuel. What got you started on your path to play-by-play announcing?
Coliseum. I went to my first game when I was 8 years old and just fell in love with the sport. And I couldn't get enough hockey. And so I started listening to every game I could on the radio, watching every game I could on TV, listening to Dan Kelly and Pat Foley and some of the great broadcasters here in the Midwest, Bob Chase out of Fort Wayne as well as our local broadcasters. And it just sparked a love, not just of hockey, but of broadcasting for me and set me on a path. It's been a winding path, but it set me on a path to the play-by-play booth and eventually here to the ECHL with the Indy Fuel.
What do you find most challenging about your job?
I think the most challenging part is trying to keep the game simple because hockey moves so fast that if you try to call every pass, every touch of the puck, you get behind and you can get tongue-tied a little bit. But if you try to just slow it down, maybe you don't describe every single pass, but at the same time, you want to describe it in enough detail to paint a picture for the listeners. And finding that balance between not going too fast, but keeping up with the action and doing so in enough detail where the listener can see in their mind, they can close their eyes and see what's happening on the ice.
What do you like most about doing what you do?
The action, and the best part's the relationships. And it's not just the relationships I have with Nick Olchek, my broadcast partner, who's a great friend, in addition to being a tremendous analyst who's already worked his way up to the National Hockey League, but our great staff with the Indy Fuel and also the other broadcasters in our league as well. And that's really the most fulfilling part of this job, is to get to know other people in the hockey community, obviously the relationships as well with our coaches and players in Indy, and then getting to see them as they come back from other spots in the league when some of them move on to other places. As you get older, I think you realize it's the people that really make this special, and the hockey community is a wonderful community to be a part of.
Everybody loves highlights. We think we've got a pretty good crop this week. Let's check them out. We start with a glove save, courtesy of Maine goaltender Stefanos Lekas. It was a key play early in the game, which ultimately resulted in a Mariners victory against Newfoundland.
My goodness, Stefanos Lekas! He absolutely robbed Mark Johnstone.
Here's Adirondacks' Luke Stevens, who's since moved on to the American Hockey League, showing off his shooting while falling skill set. And it's on the backhand, no less.
Good job by Vidmar as well. I mean, making those good plays right there. Well, that's what that line needs to do here.
Oh, my goodness. He went forehand and then twisted.
Finally, whether you call it a lacrosse-style goal or a Michigan, it doesn't happen often. When it does, it's a head-turner. Jacksonville's James Sanchez shows off his sleight of hands during a win at Norfolk. That wraps up another edition of ECHL Week from Jacksonville, Florida. Thank you very much for watching. Make sure to follow us on all of our social media channels. It's the best way to keep up to date on everything that's going on throughout the ECHL. See you next time. We conclude today with some between periods entertainment. Aspiring dancers showing off their skills for thousands of appreciative fans during a recent game in Toledo.